Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's definitely been a long time. Sorry if my volume settings are poor or anything comparable. Obviously, I'm very rusty at this. I've been wanting to make videos again, but I really have felt lost, and I guess this is going to be my attempt at getting back into the swing of things. Probably not nearly as frequently. Um, but yeah, I really miss like the community building that YouTube and Twitch had. It was a lot of fun, but quite honestly, I have been struggling to make videos or anything because I really just found out I don't enjoy playing Magic anymore, and it just like feels bad to say that, but it's so true, and I've been kind of resisting just saying it so bluntly because it's sad. It was like a pretty big part of my life. It was super fun. I got to meet so many cool people, but I really started noticing this when a friend and I went to the Nerd Rage Modern Pioneer event that happened in Kentucky. And I was super excited because I was going to meet, for the first time, I was going to meet my friend Electric Bob, who you guys have seen me stream with before. Also, he still makes videos. Go check him out. Cool dude. And I was going to meet other people from the Discord and Twitch at the convention center, like my friend Woody. So, sorry, I didn't really put good notes to this. So I'm just going to, I guess, like ramble through it. But essentially, yeah, it was like a 4-hour drive for me and my friend. That's like the farthest I've personally ever been in a car ride. So I was really excited for this. Go there. First night, we meet up with a few friends. We're drinking, playing Commander. It's a great time. I mean, I don't think I laughed that hard in a long time. I was just having a blast. Probably drank too much because the next day I remember being hungover for the round one. I'm super excited to play, very nervous. And you know me, I'm always playing Orzhov, so I was playing like Orzhov Griefblade. Sit down, round one, get paired against Living End. Not a very interactive matchup, in my opinion, right? It's just game one, I get Living Ended. I didn't have any sideboard pieces in my deck at the time. I didn't have a fast enough clock because I was on white-black as I always am. I lose. Game two, I go on the play. I think I played like a Rest in Peace or something. Couldn't answer it. I win. This is, keep in mind, these two games happen in, I don't know, I want to say 3 minutes tops. Then we go to game three. He stumbles. He doesn't cascade on three. I don't think cascaded on four. I have him with like, let's say it was like a Solitude or a Grief plus Cauldron on board attacking him. He's at 1 life. I think it must have been turn 5. Draws off the type Cycler into Cascade spell. Wipes my board. I was at 19, he was at 1. I can't recover, and I lose. So this all happened in the matter of, let's say, 10 minutes. I had just spent 4 hours traveling to this event. Start off with a loss. I know it happens. I'm not saying I don't deserve to lose. What I'm saying is it was like I didn't feel like I played a game, in my tournament run had the worst start possible. So the tournament's going through more rounds. I remember I played against actually someone who follows me on Twitch. That was pretty cool. He was on Merfolk. It was a really interesting game. Played a few more rounds. Then, man, it's so long ago because this is being recorded in late July, and I think this was like November. So sorry if my memory's poor. But that was a fun game because I knew the person. Past that, I was having an okay time, I should say. And then I get to my other loss, which was, I think, the final round. It was a creativity player, which if you guys know, you watch my stream, that deck just tilts me so much. I remember this clear as day. He gets the play. Turn 1 holds up Spell Pierce to counter my Thoughtseize. Turn 2, run in 6. I'm already behind. I play like a Stoneforge or something that doesn't matter. Turn 3 plays Fable. I'm like, all right, this is literally just an accumulation of Bodingo's least favorite cards. I once again do something insignificant. Turn 4. Plays creativity. I'm dead. Scooped. Once again, it's like a 1, maybe 2 minute long game. Game 3. Game 2. I don't think this went to game 3. I stumbled on turn 1. Just played a land, did nothing. He plays a land. So my turn 2, I get the cards to Grief Ephemerate. Play Grief. He goes Veil of Summer. I'm like, oh, cool. I'll just go, beat one off from the corner because it's just over. Then his turn 2 play wasn't that impactful, but he just blew me out completely. Then it goes Fable, Creativity. And, the amount of advantage that was accumulated from that was so great that it was just, it was once again over. So my round, my 2 losses that I remember so clearly, right? I remember my losses way better than my wins. It just, I lost for many reasons, but one of them just being my deck choice, and the games weren't interactive. I felt like I had no decision-making points. It was just I sat down and I lost. And that really stuck with me for the modern day. We leave the event that night, have a ton of fun. We go out to eat, more drinking, hanging out with friends, good time. Go for the next day, it's Pioneer, and I think I just had a really mediocre day overall. But I remember one match in particular, which was versus everybody's favorite, Mono Green. And my opponent stumbled pretty badly. He did not draw well. But one of the 3 games, I think my list had 22 to 24 lands, let's say. One of the games in my top 23 cards, I drew 18 lands. And I know that's a statistical anomaly, but it was miserable. And I was just I wasn't really upset that I lost. It's nobody's fault, really. But I was just kind of sitting there why did I travel all this way when I've had so many games that have just been incredibly boring? I felt like I had minimal agency. My decisions in-game didn't matter as much as my decisions before the game. And that's not really... It just wasn't fun anymore. And then I'm going... I tried to stream more after that. And this is where I'll go... Oh, wrong tab. I'll go through... Right? I played a shitload of Magic. But the experience was getting so repetitive. And even when I look now, I haven't played in months. Modern, I'm seeing... It's the same Modern Horizons 1, Modern Horizons 2. Now with honorary Modern Horizons 3, the One Ring, and Bowmasters just popping up everywhere, right? It's just... It feels like your deck building choices are very minimal. The amount of... And I could have just been becoming a worse and worse player over time. Ultimately, what I'm getting at is I just stopped having fun. And it really stunk because I love playing card games. It's always been a part of my life. And this experience was just complete shit for me. So I had heard about, this is where I'm going to get to, Flesh and Blood. And, there were 2 camps of people. One was the people who seemed really interested, almost like Jehovah's Witness types. They will come to your house and try to sell you on this game. A little cringy, honestly. Especially coming from Magic where, the community is so divided. Everybody's just arguing all the time. It was almost impossible to believe people would be having fun. This amount of fun, I guess, I should say. And then... Sorry, kind of lost my train of thought. Yeah, the other type of people were, the ones who were saying, this game's kind of like a scam, it's way too overpriced, which, in my mind, I'm thinking, how much more expensive can it be? Modern Horizons was coming out for, $300, $400 a box. Ragavans, you need a playset of, they're $100 a piece. How much can this game cost? So I looked into it more, and I ended up going to like a single event that was sealed. Every single person I met there was super nice. I ended up getting second, which I don't know how. I pulled like the coolest looking card I've ever seen, which I wish I had on hand. And I was just like, this game, I have so much to learn, and yet I had a blast. I was like sold. I think I went the next day to this store, MinMax, who I could go on about them all day. Met great people there, nothing but good customer service. Owner's nice, employees nice, people who go there nice. They tolerate me being a shithead all the time. It's kind of unbelievable, honestly. It's super clean, which I can't stress enough. Yeah. I went there and I sold them like a bunch of my Magic stuff and just bought in. And I have been playing probably 2-3 times a week minimum ever since. And yeah, it's just been so much fun. And I'm very appreciative. Sorry, I keep looking down because I wrote some notes. I'm just appreciative of the difference of experience. It's people from all different walks of life. A lot of people who have never played card games, all just trying to get better, and they're very supportive. And on average, I think I like more of the players than I dislike. Obviously not going to name names for either, but it's just been a really good time. And my already apparent dissatisfaction with Magic, paired with my newfound love for this game, I just never wanted to touch my Magic shit again. And it feels really bad to say that, because once again, I did like it so much, but I haven't regretted it at all. So I feel bad. This is my, PSA. I doubt on my channel I have any plans to play more Magic anytime soon, because the difference in gameplay has just been so apparent to me that it's difficult to go back, even to play Commander just with my friends. But yeah, so all that to say, I'm really appreciative of everybody who's been on my channel. I feel bad for just kind of vanishing, but at the same time, I just wasn't enjoying playing anymore. Just finding myself getting more and more frustrated. I see people on Twitter who also have somewhat similar experiences, and I just didn't want to force myself into anything. But so that will, kind of conclude my wrap-up of history of Magic for me. And now I just kind of wanted to talk about my competitive seasons so far, because I know I've put some polls on my YouTube channel and some people have expressed interest. So what really got me into playing competitive Flesh and Blood is there was an event called a ProQuest, sponsored, whatever, by MinMax. It was such a fun event. Some guys from the local shop were convincing me, one of which being my friend Levi. There's actually a video I could try to find and link where he was talking about his tournament experience and saying there's this new guy that comes to the shop named Brandon, and he's getting a phone call. He's discouraged from competing because he doesn't really know, but he's got pretty decent fundamentals. And him, a couple other guys convinced me to attend. I did, and I ended up top 8ing, which granted I was on a pretty easy hero. But it was so fun. And every single opponent I played against, it was a good experience, very win or lose, everybody was just friendly. And the guy I beat on my feature match, I talk to him every single week now. We talk deck ideas, just super cool dude. It was just a whole different experience compared to where I came from. So yeah, that's really what hooked me. I played in that, got top 8. I've played in a Road to Nationals and got top 8 in Wisconsin. That was super fun. It's just been an excuse to meet new people, play a new game, and it's been awesome. So now fast forward to what I really wanted to talk about with this video is my experience the past week with both Battle Hardened Cincinnati and Battle Hardened Chicago. I can't even think of the one in my own state. Anyways, I've been playing this character called Dromai, who, for those of you who watched me play Magic, I was really interested in playing her due to this card. This card just reminds me of Lingering Souls, and as soon as I saw it, I'm like, dude, if this deck is good, and it plays a card like my favorite card that is actually shit in Magic, I'm sold. And turns out this is like one of her best cards. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about my tournament experience, and I guess I could share insights about why I built my deck the way I did for Cincinnati and then also for Chicago. So I guess to start, Cincinnati was a terrible tournament experience for me. I got destroyed. Morally. Mentally. Just completely crapped on. And it was really more so I just like played like shit. And then got in my own head. It was still a fun time. So I only played 4 rounds because I dropped. And the tournament experience started off with a round 1 I played against Dash. And if anyone's got questions, because I know people who watch these are probably Magic players, I'm happy to explain in the comments or in Discord. Hopefully you know that. But I'm not going to like explain the nuances of everything. Probably because I'm just lazy and I don't want to forget details. But yeah, so the first round I got paired against Dash, who, from playing with my local Rachel, I kind of just feel like I don't really have to try in that matchup. I'm so favored. And I felt even worse because my opponent was clearly brand new. He brought his deck registration sheet to the table, flipped up his entire deck, and started showing me every card in the list. So I was like, okay, the RNG gods are looking down upon me. I think I'm going to get a free win here. Sure enough, I don't think that guy knew how to play very well. He was like asking me lines. He played against my friend later, and my friend said he was like playing against himself. It was just kind of sad, but I'm like, all right, 1-0. No sweat off my back. I was done really quickly. So that round, nothing too special to talk about. It was just funny. Then the next round, I get paired against Bravo, who I think is favored into me, unless you have, like, you're very disciplined. And what was tough about that matchup was, before the event, Remembrance, Uvia, and another card, I can't remember. Let's just say it was Remembrance and Uvia, weren't in my list. I had another Sand Cover, which is a defensive card, very important versus Bravo. And I had, maybe this isn't the full list, but I had one other card in this slot. And what ended up happening was I have key cards in the matchup, including this Passing Mirage, Miragai, and Chromai. And I didn't get to play a single Miragai, and 2 of my Passing Mirages got discarded. So I was just kind of like boned. It was still a pretty close match, surprisingly, but I think I sideboarded incorrectly, and my opponent ended up top 8ing that event. So I didn't feel too bad, but it was just sloppy play from my part. Really good play from my opponent. He was a nice guy. And yeah, just a lot of poor decisions led to me losing. So I'm like, all right, this stinks, because I always make fun of people playing Bravo, especially one of my good friends, Kyle. And another friend I was with, Marcus. We make fun of them all the time. So I'm like, I'm eating my words. I'm 1-1. I only beat a new player. Let's go to the next round. If you get 2 losses, you're out of top 8 contention. So then the next round I get paired against this guy, who's a friend of a friend, actually. And he was on the new character Bolton. And to be quite honest, I didn't really know what all was going on, but I feel really favored into that matchup based on the play patterns. So I just played pretty conservatively, tried to get more value, managed to get across the finish line. So I was 2-1. Feeling okay. Still kind of like, I lost the one matchup that I needed to try in, and then the other 2 I got for free. Then I get paired into my absolute worst matchup. And not only was it my worst matchup, but this guy high-rolled the crap out of me. And it was tough, too, because I've been testing with my friend Sam, and, I mean, God bless him. We've played so many games, and while we were, like, hanging out, we were all drinking. He's getting super pissed off because I'm beating him on my when he's on a deck meant to beat me. But it all comes down to drawing this card. Art of War is what it felt like. And my opponent in this round, unlike my friend Sam, was really good at drawing Art of War. So I think, let me try to remember exactly. I went second. So he attacks me, gets some chip damage in. I do a pretty mediocre turn. Then on his next turn, he plays 2 of his 3 Art of Wars, pushes in a ton of damage. I had to block with my whole hand because it's like, this is one of his best turns. I just got to try to mitigate the damage. And in this game, right, if you block with your hand, you don't get to attack with it. So I just draw, pass to him. Then he draws his 3rd Art of War. He draws his 3rd Art of War when he has a Tunic resource, which means he gets to play it for free, essentially. And I think I lost this game by like 28 health when you start at 40. So yeah, 2-2. I got destroyed, super demoralized. I'm like, maybe I should just play. Maybe I should just play for fun after this. I get paired into another guy from the Chicago area who was on probably my 2nd worst matchup, and he had beaten me in Wisconsin pretty badly. And I was just so off of it. I'm like, fuck it, dude. You got the win. I am out. So I dropped from that event. I was feeling super discouraged because I've put so much time in testing this deck list. And I was like, dude, I got 2 free matchups, and the ones I have to try in, I get destroyed. Like, why do I even play this deck? So I literally went home, and I was like, fuck it. I need to make a new deck or stop playing. Like, I just stink. And my friends were all very encouraging. They're like, quit being an idiot. Quit being an idiot. Keep playing. Sometimes it just happens. So I took this list, and I was like, you know what? Those few cards, they didn't matter too much, but they mattered enough where I'm not used to playing with them. I want them out. So what I did was, for Chicago, I took out one of these Billowing Mirages, which didn't prove to be as useful as I thought, in those 2 cards I mentioned earlier. And I was like, I hate losing to aggro decks. I just want to try to cheese them. So I added in 3 Nourishing Emptiness for the possibility of cheesing aggro decks, like just getting a free, super big head start. And then, worst case, it's a block 3, which is like average, good value blocking. And it's also in Illinois. Apparently, people say there's a ton of Illusionist players where the 6 attack value matters. I never get to play against Illusionists, but that's what everyone says. And I play Illusionist, so who knows? So, I'm playing this list. I'm more comfortable with it. I know it's only 3 cards different, but whatever. I'm going to practice it during the week. So I go to locals on I go to locals on Tuesday. I go undefeated. I go to locals on Wednesday. I only lose to my friend Levi because he could have still beat me, but I was trolling so hard because all I was trying to do was do this to him, and that's not how you play the matchup. So yeah, I was feeling confident. Total for that week was 6-1. I'm like, this is going to be a lot better. Get to Chicago Saturday, and first round, I play against the new hero Prism, which also seemed to be a new player. And first thing I'm thinking, I was like, oh man, this is going to be a repeat of Cincinnati. I get the new player luck for round 1, and I'm just going to scrub out. So I play against this guy. His name was Adrian. Super nice. He's like, I just used to like the old Prism. I want to play this Prism. I've been working on it, and I know Prism is a very favored matchup for me anyway, and I've put in tons of practice. So yeah, it was a slaughter. I beat that guy by 46 health. I felt terrible about it, but I wanted to win. So our round ended super quick. I talked to him a bit. Really nice guy. I was like, don't get discouraged, because yeah, he picked the hardest character that hasn't been solved. Yeah. So I was happy I won. I felt bad for beating someone new, but I'm trying to win. And on top of that, I'm more so nervous because I'm like, this is just going to be Cincinnati all over. Walking around, my friends win, talking to them. My girlfriend actually showed up, so I got to introduce her to a bunch of people. That was super cool, put me in a great mood. But I'm nervous. Round 2 gets called, and I get paired into a Bravo deck, which is exactly what beat me round 2 at Cincinnati. And I'm just like, I cannot lose this. I'm going to be so mad if I lose this. But like, it would kind of be funny at the same time. But whatever. I go into the matchup. It's against a guy named Ben on Bravo. He was very friendly too. I run my entire stack of cards. We're playing back and forth, and I'll try to recall more details for this event because it was so recent, but my memory's not the best. But essentially, at one point, I had the life pad. Anyways, at one point, I think I was down. He was at like 28 life, and I was around 6. And I'm just looking at myself like, dude, you're throwing this all away. Your opponent's not that much better than you, if better at all. You're just playing sloppy. And it was literally like a moment where I had to focus up, and we turned it around. I started just like playing. It felt like I was playing out of my mind. Like such good sequencing, such prioritization of like what cards were good in the matchup, which ones weren't. I get all this tempo, and I just like shoved damage in his face like crazy. He just could not recover. And I feel bad for him, but after the match, my opponent was like, I haven't lost to a Dromai in months. And I was like, well, today's your day, buddy. But like, I couldn't help myself because I was so excited, and I love talking shit. So I think he walked away pretty upset. but whatever. I'm 2-0, feeling amazing. Can't think of anything else that happened notable for my friends. But yeah, that was cool. So I'm like, maybe the curse is over. Let's keep it up. Next round, I get paired into Lexi, which is supposed to be a favored matchup, but I don't know if I buy that. That's one of the matchups that I was just like praying I could high roll. So I sit down against this guy who's like a 25-year Magic grinder. I think he's played in a Pro Tour, very serious. And he has me go first. So turn 1, I draw the cheese, and I play it. Best play I could have had. He's like, oh, that's just great. And like, I just can't help it. I'm like, instantly start trash talking because that's how I like to play. This hits. What makes it so good is I dropped the 5 cards in my hand, and I set an arsenal. So I had a 6-card hand to his 4-card hand. He throws back some kind of like mediocre damage, but I think I was like, I didn't have a read that he was going to be big on blocking, just based on like his sequencing. So I kept a hand that was like a red card, Kyloria, and Command and Conquer, and the other 3 cards I blocked with. So on my turn, he had set an arsenal. I play Kyloria and attack, and if this hits, I draw. And sure enough, he was not in the mood to block, so he's like, no blocks, take it. I get a card, pitch it to Furnace, play Command and Conquer. He was like, are you serious? He was so mad. And I'm like, hey man, I'm just trying to give you a good game, It hits, takes his arsenal. He clears my board. I draw into Invoke Tomultai. I play Tomultai, kill his helmet, which kills his arsenal. And he is very not happy. Game keeps going, and he makes a critical mistake. And this is, I wanted to make note of in the video because if anyone gets this far, maybe you could tell me how you'd handle it. I had a protection of 1 damage on board. He sent an attack for 5. I say I have no blocking cards, which is how the priority works, right? And then it goes to him. Does he have a reaction? He says no. I go, I have a reaction, and I play this card, which blocks for 4. So without my protection thing that's on board, his arrow would hit me. I say, do you have any further reactions? He says no. I say, neither do I. This arrow is fully covered. He goes, oh, I didn't notice your protection card. I'm going to react. And I was like, I think I should call it judge. He goes, go ahead. And I'm like, you know what? You can just have it. But it was like eating me up inside. Because if I lost because of that, I was going to feel like a chump. So yeah, if you have an opinion, let me know what you would do. But it really burned my ass. But essentially, it didn't end up mattering. I beat that guy. I apologized to him for getting a little salty. But I just explained, it was a little awkward position. Anyways, 3-0, feeling good. The next round, I pair into Briar, which is a deck that can be really explosive, and I don't particularly love playing against. And I get paired against this really nice guy. Name was Nathan Crawford, and I think he has a YouTube channel. Hopefully I'll find it and I can link it. But yeah, he was super nice. He stomped the yard with me. He got two of his best power card. I actually took a picture of this because it was so funny to me. Plays Channel Mount into Force. Hits with this because I have a terrible blocking hand. Plays a second Force. So I think in total his turn was 8 damage plus 10 damage plus 10 damage plus 10 damage draw. And each of these drew a card. So it was a 38 damage turn. I just got eviscerated. I was laughing about it with him. He was super nice, so it kind of helped the sting that hit my heart. But that was my first loss. But turns out he's a really good player. It was a good experience. Didn't feel bad about it at all. Did my best to lose gracefully. So 4-1. That I didn't have much to say about that round because I just got destroyed. 4-1. The next person I get paired into was named Pat Ishii, something like that. He had just top 8'd the Cincinnati Battle Hardened that I just played at on a really cool deck. Our game was interesting because I know what his deck does, but I'm no expert at it. And when I sat down, I asked him, I was like, hey, how did top 8 go? Because I hadn't watched it. And he said, I lost to your deck, but it's a super favored matchup for me. I should not have lost. I made a lot of mistakes. And I'm like, oh shit, great. This guy's super good, and he's telling me, get ready to get destroyed. So, we're playing, and it's a super big back and forth. And he's playing really well. It got down to a few key moments where I had been bluffing a defensive card in my arsenal for several turns, and he's been hitting like crazy, just tons and tons of damage. I don't know if he considered my bluff, but I think he did because he was a good player. But he plays this card that if more than likely would apply Dominate to his next attack. I think it's called Convulsions. He plays his Convulsions. I'm dead if that hits, and it misses. So I'm able to block, and I just start blocking for the rest of the game until he runs out of cards in deck, and I beat him. And he was super graceful in defeat. Really nice guy, but my ass was clenched that entire match because he was definitely very good. And you could tell very thoughtful, and it made for a very fun game. I'm trying to think if I didn't any other notable notes about that match. I was able to Tumultai and take 1 point off his boots to kill them so he couldn't just keep rolling scabs. But besides that, I don't think there was anything too crazy. Just the miss on his Dominate. And yeah, it was a pretty methodical game. I really liked it. So at that point, I'm 4-1. In my next round, I get paired into another Bravo. And this Bravo, I won't say his name. He can, if he sees this, whatever. But he has a reputation for being a cheater in the Illinois area, and he was extremely unfriendly. So I was like, I really, really want to win this match. he was playing like this obscure Fatigue Bravo list. And he was playing pretty well, but I don't think his list lines up well with mine at all. And he started making some questionable decisions towards the end. And I just amassed this massive board, clobbered him, and he kind of salted off. He's like, my deck beats everything but your deck. I'm like, all right, dude, whatever. Tell my friends, they're all super happy. They're like, fucking beat that cheater. Congrats. And yeah, felt pretty good. So there were 2 rounds left in the event. If I lost either of them, I was out of top 8 contention. I hadn't eaten that day. I'm like feeling exhausted. Not to throw excuses out, but like I was just kind of like ready to be done playing. Then my next round I get paired into this guy named Raj on Lexi. And Raj was probably my nicest opponent by far. He clobbered me. He was running circles around me. Really good player. In my opinion, very thoughtful. It was a very fun time playing against him. Even added him on Discord after the fact. He was just like a super nice guy. Played Lexi very well. And he ended up making top 8, which was awesome. I was really happy for him. I'm trying to think if there were any notable things. He got me with a few really good Arctic incarcerations that just stopped my whole turn. And like once those hit, like I was like, this is over. But yeah, congrats to Raj. He was a super nice guy. Did great. Excuse me. And yeah, that was the end of my tournament run because I dropped at that point. I was like, I can't make top 8. I think even if I won my next round, the best I could have gotten was 11th place, according to my friends. So I was like, I'm just done. I'm going to watch some people and just kind of like have a snack, have some water. We all went to Hooters afterwards. And yeah, 1 second again. So ultimately, I was like super happy with myself for my performance. A few of my other friends did really well, and it was just like a really, really enjoyable time. But yeah, wow, holy shit, this is a long video. I guess to wrap this up, I just wanted to say, hopefully I'm going to make some more videos, probably about Flesh and Blood, because I've enjoyed it so much. I can talk about my list more at a different time, but this was way too long. But I've just wanted to make a video. I kind of feel like I owe it to the people who have watched my channel. I can't encourage you enough to give this game a try if you're a Magic player. Join my Discord, message me on YouTube if you need help getting started. It's just got like a really fantastic community. I'm definitely very lucky because I live near MinMax, which is like a really good store that's an ambassador for the game. But yeah, everyone at my locals has been great. Everyone that I meet through this game has given me a good experience, ultimately. And I'm just very appreciative for it. And I just wanted to kind of share a little bit of my journey playing this game so far, and I'm like super happy that I stumbled into it. So yeah, thank you everybody. Sorry if you came to this channel only for Magic content. I understand if you head out. But yeah, hopefully I start making more videos. I appreciate it. Thank you everybody. Peace.